Hey y'all, it's Ali. Welcome to Little Hill Homestead. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a really basic and delicious jelly. We, growing up in California, had all kinds of access to pomegranates. Out here in the South, we have to buy them. But I used to get 5-gallon buckets of this at a time for my father-in-law, and we would make a boatload of pomegranate jelly every day. It's kind of a family favorite of ours, but my father-in-law loved it. My brother-in-law Jacob loves it. Like anybody that gets a hold of it and tries it is like, boom, that's delicious. It's got a tartness to it from the pomegranates, but it's also like kind of sweet. It's indescribable, that's the right word, but it's delicious. So today I'm going to show you guys how we make pomegranate jelly. I have 4 pomegranates. Honestly, I bought these a couple weeks ago on sale. Right now is a good time to look in like bargain bins and stuff because you can get them at the end of the season for pretty cheap. I think they were $1.88 a pound. They're actually starting to get hard. I put them in the fridge. So to process a pomegranate, I do it in a little bit of water. And I'm going to show you a couple of tricks we've learned over the years. We've been making this yearly probably for, I don't know, over 20 years probably. We've been making it for as long as I can remember. So to do a pomegranate, I cut the ends off of each end off, just with a knife. Do it on a cutting board that if it gets stained, you're not going to care about. I take my knife and very, very carefully score it. Just in a couple sections. You can do halves, you can do quarters, whatever you want to do. And this is just going to help you break it apart a little easier. If you don't feel safe holding it like this, just, do it on a cutting board. So when I do it underwater. I tried to pick a clear bowl for you guys, and I pull it apart so it breaks in half. And then I take the other score that we did and do it again. Doing it in a bowl of water keeps you from shooting all over your house, but it also helps you get the pomegranate seeds out of the pomegranate. So underwater, basically, I just loosen the little, what are these actually called? I can't even remember, there's a name for them. I use my thumbs to kind of push the pomegranate seeds. I usually do this in a much larger bowl, away from like the skin and the little like pithy stuff that's all through the middle. So then I take the little pieces and I chuck them in a bowl. Those are going to go into our compost bin. So I do this. Basically, I'm just wiggling my fingers in there to get it to release. If you do it underwater, they just kind of pop off. It's easy, not messy, pretty simple. So growing up, we always had pomegranates, like I was saying, readily available to us. My father-in-law would get them by the bucket full for us. But growing up, our neighbors would have them, or some of the houses we lived in had them. In California, they're kind of just, you take them for granted, I guess, because they're just kind of around. I'm trying to think if my grandparents had one. They had like a whole avocado orchard. They still own the property. It's from the it's over 100 years old. So we still have that property in California, and it's got the original avocado trees. They're a kind called Fuentes. They are a higher oil content. They don't ship well because they are thinner skinned, but they're way better than Haas, which is what you get at the grocery store. Anyways, I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to pull apart all my pomegranates. It'll probably take me, as I sprayed some on my face, it'll probably take me, 5 minutes to pull them all apart. That'd be my guess, maybe a couple more. I'll just turn on music and start jamming through. And your pomegranate seeds kind of sink. This white stuff will float, so it's easy to pull up. But yeah, I'm just going to go process all these, and then I'll come right back once I have them done to show you the next step. But step 1. You usually get about, depends on how juicy your pomegranates are. I'm doing 4. You can do up to 6 pomegranates for this single batch recipe. I will sub a little bit of water for what we're lacking, but it's because of the process that I do to get the juice out. I know I'm getting all the juice, so I feel comfortable diluting it just a little bit if we have to. So we'll see what we end up with. But overall, we need about 4 cups of juice. So let me go work on this, and then I'll be back. Plus my nose itches. That's awesome, right? When your hands are covered in pomegranate and water. I look like, remember that TV show? Okay. I have my pomegranate seeds in a blender. This ended up being, is there a cut mark on here? I feel like there is, or should be. There's no cut mark. Why did I think there was? JK. Anyways, it's like a half of a blender full of pomegranate seeds. Couple things I was thinking while I was doing this is, one, I tried to use pomegranate juice, like the Palm brand, a long time ago. It did not work at all. I've also tried to do like the dug out, pre-this stuff that you can buy like in a container. It also did not work. There's something about fresh that it just needs to be, so don't skimp. Also, I have not tried this as a low sugar recipe, and you do need a box of pectin. So there's just a couple little pointers. I'm gonna throw just a tiny bit of water in this to get it to spin and go run it through the blender to pulverize these to juice it. I'll show you that as soon as I get back. Hold on. Okay, I ran it through the blender. It literally pulverizes it. I used to try to boil these down, all different methods, by far the easiest. I have this little ricer, I think is what you guys called it. I use this to strain out any of the pomegranate that's left, that it catches it. If you want to line it with cheesecloth, you totally can. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. If I feel like a lot came through, then I'll run it through again with cheesecloth. Okay, now I'm just gonna let that kind of naturally just strain down, and we are aiming for about 4 cups of juice. It usually gets really dang close to the 4 cups that I need. If I need to, I will use this and get more out of it, but let me go rinse this out. That's gonna work well. Get the spatula you have. I have 17 spatulas and I'm using that. Okay, I'm gonna go rinse this out. All right, it's getting pretty dang close to like naturally doing its thing. I'm just gonna step in and help it a little bit. So I just spin this little thing. If you don't have one of these, you can do it in a colander. I used to do this a million years ago before I had this. Put it in a colander and then squish it with the back of a ladle. It kind of does a similar effect. Not as effective, but you get the gist. So this basically will just catch all the big seeds are gonna remain in here from the centers of our pomegranates. And then we just dump these right into, I put them in the trash. You could probably put them in your combine? I don't live in North Dakota. In your compost. Wowzers. Going back in the days, my grandma's family was from, or is still from, North Dakota. And so we used to go up there when we were kids. And the guys would get to go out on the combines. And the women were expected to stay in the kitchen and cook. And I was like, I want to be out on the combine. So I told my uncle, came down one day, and he's like, sis, you're not going out with us. And I was like, hold on. I came down in overalls, looked like a farm girl. And he's like, all right, let's go. So he finally let me drive the truck next to the combine. You know, old school, right? Anyways, it was an awesome experience growing up, like, and being up in that area. All right, let me get my spatula now that I need it. I'm just gonna take the bottom of this and take any of those good bits. If you don't want any bits at all, like I said, just strain it out. Cheesecloth will stop any of that. I don't mind a little bit of bits. Okay, how do we do? Let's find out. Like I said, I'll just dump that. We got, literally we're on the edge of 4 cups. So I'm gonna add a splash, literal splash of water to get us to our 4 cups. All right, perfect, we're at 4 cups. To this bowl, and we're gonna be boiling this on the stove, but I figured I'll I'll do it right here. I need 1/4 cup of lemon juice. It is better to use bottled lemon juice because it's consistently acidic versus fresh lemon juice for this recipe. If you have fresh lemons, you can totally use them. I just know for canning purposes, it's better to use bottled lemon juice. So I have 1/4 cup of lemon juice going in there. I'm gonna go put this on the stove. I'll bring you over there. And we're gonna start boiling this with a boatload of sugar. Oh, by the way, you do need a box of pectin. Pomegranates are not a high pectin fruit, and so you do need pectin to can them. Unlike some fruits, you don't need it. Yeah, you need it for this one. So let's head over to the stove. Okay, our juice with our lemon juice and our pectin is just starting to boil. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna add our sugar to the mix. It seems like a lot of sugar, but really jelly is just a boatload of sugar in a jar with some fruit flavor. So this is gonna take a while to come to a boil. I'd say like maybe 5 to 7 minutes. And then once it comes to a boil, you set yourself a timer for 1 minute. It just needs 1 minute for that pectin to do whatever it is it does, and for it to come to the temperature that it needs to turn it into jelly. So I'm just gonna sit here and stir it to make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom, make sure that your sugar is dissolving, there's not any clumps, and then waiting for it to come to a boil. Like I said, once it comes to a boil, and you want like a good boil. You don't want like one bubble at a time. You want a good boil. Once it does that, 1 minute. We'll be back as soon as it's time to jar it up. Be right back. All right, our jelly did a beautiful boil for 1 minute. I should have showed you the boil. You'll know because it's not like a cute little boil. It gets almost like foamy looking as it does a really good boil. And that's what I look for is that good foamy boil. And then set your timer for 1 minute. So I have, I washed my jars in my dishwasher last night because I knew I was gonna do this today. And then I don't boil my lids or anything like that. I just have, they're just cleaned and ready to go. I use the high heat or the dryer function or the sterilize, whatever yours calls it, to get them hot enough that I know they're good. So I have a little funnel doodle. All I'm gonna do is fill our jars. I use these dryer mats. They had some on way deep clearance at Costco, like $1.97 or something like that. And they're an awful size for dishes, but for doing this, I was like, hey, it's kind of perfect for that. So I go to about, let's see, I do about a 1/2 inch of headspace, 1 to 1/2 inch, kind of around that on my jars of jelly. It's gonna have a little bit of that white foam at the top. Some people strain that off. I don't really feel the need to do that. It doesn't bother me. Some people add butter. I also don't want to do that because that's introducing dairy into something you're gonna water bath can, and that I don't feel that that's safe. I don't can dairy. I've said that before. I know some people can milk and cream cheese and butter and all kinds of stuff, and I don't feel comfortable doing that. So maybe down the road after do more research and stuff. For now though, I'll stick with the things that I know are a little bit more normal. I use powdered milk. I'm gonna show you guys eventually, very soon, how to dehydrate your own milk. So you have milk powder, dehydrated eggs, things like that. They do sell dehydrated butter. I'm not really sure how that's gonna turn out. I feel like it's just gonna turn into an oily mess, but we'll see. Figure it's worth a try. Right now, in our Azure, we did that vegetable box, then like I call it the mystery vegetable box of all kinds of vegetables, and we got a young coconut. First of all, I thought I was gonna use it to make coconut shrimp. Not the case because you couldn't shred it or it didn't work at all for that. So I'm dehydrating the, what's it called? The inside of the coconut, the meat. Not exactly sure if that's gonna turn out, but I was like, hey, let's give it a whirl. I already paid for it with the box, so why not give it a try? And we did make the coconut shrimp. I know you guys wanted that recipe. We had not tried it before. I'm gonna mess with it and I will make it once we get it to be a good recipe for you. This should fill 8 to 9 jars. I'm getting really close, so I'm gonna do the dump method. Anything I have left after this 8th jar, I'll probably just pop in the fridge. Actually, let me look. I have one more clean jar over here. Let me grab it. I did all 12 of my jars in the dishwasher, so if I have the stuff, I might as well, right? Let's see if it fills. Oh, yeah, it'll be good. Ooh, perfect. It's like it was meant to be. Okay, so there's all of our jars. All that I'm gonna do, get that out of the way, is clean the tops. This is just a clean, wet rag. If I have something that's meaty or greasy, I will put a little vinegar on my rag. When it's something like this, it comes off really easy with just a little water, so I don't worry too much about it. And then fingertip tight. I've showed you, did I just really? No, I didn't. Okay, we're good. I've showed you before that you basically go until it starts to spin, and then you give it a little quick, one more little further twist. Let me do it up here for you guys. These are hot, hot. So I do that, and then as soon as it starts to spin, I'll grip the bottom and do just maybe, I don't know, another 1 inch little turn on the circle. What is she talking about? Anyways, I'm gonna go get these going in our water bath canner. Like I said, I use my pressure canner. I just don't put the lid locked so it doesn't build pressure. Any pan, pot, not a pan, it's not gonna do anything for you. Any pot that you can get these covered with 2 inches of water will work. I have another pot. It's an old pressure canner my mother-in-law gave me that doesn't have like the parts to pressure can. I used that for years and years. You can find them at thrift stores. I mean, anything that's gonna cover it 2 inches. I water bath canned like everything for the first like 5 years because I was scared of pressure canning. I've changed my tune since then, but if you're nervous about pressure canning, water bath canning is really easy. So you just wanna make sure this is covered with 2 inches of water. I already have it going hot because hot food needs hot water. I'll drop it in. As soon as it comes back to a boil, you're gonna do 10 minutes, and that's it, you guys. I'll come back and show you the final product, but I'm gonna get this going in my canner using these dudes. Remember, this flat part is where your hand goes. This side is not the handle. It doesn't, you know what I mean? I've had a lot of people say they didn't realize that, and I'm like, okay. To each his own, right? The first time I thought, oh my gosh, I'm gonna drop all these. No, you can do it. It's not difficult. I kind of pinch it with these 2 fingers and make it like the claw. All right, guys, I'm gonna go get these going. I will put my lid back on because it is really cold outside today. I don't know if you can tell. It snowed here last night, which it doesn't very often, and it's making it like so light and bright in here. It's beautiful, but it is really, really cold outside. Our greenhouse heater ran and ran and ran last night, and it still got below freezing, so I'm a little nervous to go check out my stuff that's in there. But the only thing I have to worry about is my peppers that I overwintered, so it's fine. It's fine. Okay, I'm gonna go get this cleaned up, and 10 minutes. Okay, it's time to pull these. I turned the water off, and I let them just sit for a few minutes with the lid off to kind of like come back down a little bit so they're not so hot. And I'm just gonna take them now and put them onto our drying mat. I like to use this. I feel like it protects my counters from the heat, and I can easily slide it around if I need to move them once they're kind of sitting, because you're supposed to let them sit for 24 hours. So I find this just to be the easiest. I was thinking something for you guys. You let me know. Would you want to see us do canned jelly like this, but from commercial, like grape juice or something like that? We've done it before with a couple different juices. Like we had some orange juice that was gonna go bad one time, so I made jelly out of it. It was a little funky, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it was a good way to use it. We ended up using it in some orange cinnamon rolls. So it's all good, but straight up, it wasn't quite it was a little zingy for me. But if you wanna see us make grape juice or something else, I'm not gonna make grape juice, y'all. I'm not gonna be stomping grapes or nothing like that. But if you wanna see us make jelly out of commercial juice, which you totally can, let me know. I'll make it for you guys. But this is our pomegranate jelly, you guys. Like I said, we've made this every single year for 20 years. I don't even know for sure. You're just gonna let these kind of just cool down. I don't move them for 24 hours. You just wanna make sure that they seal. Jellies are usually really good about pinging or making that noise really quickly. These already did when they were in the water. So the water came to a low enough temperature, they popped in there. That's fine. But label them up, gift them, eat them. Like I said, they're delicious on rolls. I had it on a piece of toast this morning. So there you guys go. If you have any questions, put it in the comments below. I'm always here if you need anything. And thank you so much for watching, guys.